What's up, y'all? So I wanted to kind of just take you guys through a live session on what I just recently did, leveraging Try It Plainly, Claude, and Webflow. So one of the page planner tools told me, on Plainly to create this free UGC contracts template. And as I thought more and more about it, I was like, this is actually pretty solid because UGC creators don't typically the majority of them don't have their own contracts already, and sometimes brands don't either. Like, I look at this as like, this is a really good way for brands to download these UGC contracts, like maybe new brands, smaller brands, startups, just to have in, their document repository on the Google Drive. And same thing with creators, right? So let's say the people that aren't on the platform need a contract template. Great, we provide it as a resource without even expecting you guys to sign up. So what I did is I took this prompt and I already created the page, but I'm just walking you through what the workflow will look like. But I took this prompt, I was able to put it in Claude. So if I was you guys, just create literally you could create a new chat and you can copy, sorry, I have pulled that in from another page, but you can copy the prompt into, a Claude or into Lovable or into ChatGPT. It depends on what you're using. I would put this in here and then I would ask it to create a landing page, right? For my, XYZ website. So wherever you are hosting your website, that's where you need to consider what you're building it for, because it might need to be formatted in a certain way for you. So decide right now, what website am I building my tool on? Not even my tool, can be your local business too. Like if you're using WordPress, one of my clients is on WordPress, then you need to make sure you're specific there. If you're on Squarespace, you need to be specific there. If you're on Lovable, you need to be specific there. So you would copy the prompt over and make sure you create a landing page. And I would make sure I'm being specific about, making sure you have the right meta description, all those things. But the good thing is the prompt should have enough in here for you to go to this next step. And what I really like is that it also puts the internal link targets as well for you. So I have a tools page now. I do need to create a features page and a blog one. So I do need to work on that. But this is just, like I said, giving you enough guidance on your SEO journey so you can grow your search traffic. Like I mentioned before, I was able to grow my search traffic tremendously these last few months. And this is exactly, where founders should start when they have honestly quite a tight budget for marketing. Leverage tools like this where you're only paying, like, honestly, you can use the free tool for this, or you can use the $19 a month tool, and just your time and $19 a month can literally make you back your ROI faster. And yes, people say, like, let's run paid ads, let's do this, let's do that. But the practical thing is you do want your website to sell for you at the end of the day. So that, like I said, putting that into Claude, is the first step. Then once Claude actually builds the landing page for you, you need to go to your web, where you're hosting your website. And for me, I'm hosting it on Webflow. So what I was able to do is, I wanted to show you guys what I did. I had created a UGC contract template, and I already had this all set up, making sure the URL slug is good, making sure I have a good meta description, title tag. I even created a OG image, which you can have Claude do that as well for you. And when I click on this, you'll see I added some custom code in because this came from Claude. So Claude gave me the code to put in here, to drop in here. And then I made sure it looks good first on the staging side, so this had looked good. I already tested it out, made sure that when I click download PDF that it actually shows me the PDF as well. And for you, maybe instead of them downloading it for free, maybe you want to get their email. You could do that too. My goal is not to be super annoying with too many pop-ups and trying to get emails or something. Like, I really want to drive more traffic to the site, and I'm working on decreasing the bounce rate. But depending on the business you have, maybe you do want to collect emails. You're going to have to do your independent research to see what works for your niche, right? So keep that in mind. But yeah, so once I verified that it looks good, I was able to push it, to actual tools, subfolder or resources subfolder, because we do have a resources page. So I do resources page with that, so that way I have more internal links. But as you can see, like I just working on getting a solid, foundation on here to ensure that people can come on here and trust us with using our tools. I have an influencer rate calculator, engagement rate calculator, brand pitch, email generator. Like we have some pretty cool tools on here. And this is all by the help of leveraging Plainly to actually plan out the pages that I need to work on. So this is published and done. And now I can go see what else I should focus on, So this one is going to be next for me, with the free UGC ad creative generator for social ads. I would just end up copying this prompt in, because I have not made this already. Let's see, just, I could give you some of the basics of what I do, but we already have the tools page laid out. So let's see, let me just go down. Actually, let me just go to another chat. I have make sure you organize your chats better than me, y'all. I have some chats that need to be cleaned up, I would say. But I do have a Gem Social Marketing one, and I have this redesign project because I did start redesigning the site. And I would drop the prompt in here. I actually need to create a new chat. Yeah, so I'll probably have to, I'm going to create a separate tutorial on doing it end to end, but let me just get back here. I'll create a separate tutorial on how I would go about it end to end to walk y'all through the entire flow. But let's just go back for the sake of the time back on here and see, the one that I did create, right? So this one was published, and when you're not fully done, you want to make sure you index this on Google Search Console. So I already have this in my favorites. So I'll drop this in here to index it. Make sure, Google's let me know if it is not indexed. Since it is not, I'm going to request indexing. And then this should be, indexed between the next few days. Because the domain has been a while for quite some time. So I typically notice that every few days it'll index a certain amount of pages. But again, this all depends. If you have a fresh domain, it might take longer. Have another domain, in here that's still taking time, including my own personal website, right? It's brand new. So there are some pages that are still getting indexed. So don't beat yourself up if you're like, oh my gosh, it's still taking some time to index. SEO takes time. SEO is a long-term, investment. But if you can decrease the cost of this investment, leveraging a tool that works for you, not against you, then you're on the right path. So this is, like I said, just providing proofs like, hey, look, like even my new domain, is showing little data, but it is like maybe like less than a month old or almost a month old. So keep that in mind, right? But no worries. So we index the site. So you can see in our Gem Social one that we have a lot of pages that aren't indexed yet because we're in a big SEO project phase right now. We're removing pages that we find unnecessary. We are working on pages that we do find necessary. We're optimizing new pages as old pages as well but you can see like there's like 1,000 of them we haven't indexed yet. We have a big SEO project, going underway, and just honestly leveraging this tool has been super helpful. So, that's pretty much it for today. So what's the action plan? Like go on this platform, plan out your pages, copy the prompt into Claude, make sure that, the prompt is very clear that you're creating these pages, for your Webflow site or Lovable site or your WordPress site, etc. You do a human review on if this page looks good. Is it functional? Is it readable? Is it responsive? Just making sure you have a good checklist of ways to have a good acceptance criteria before you just publish a AI generated page, right? And then once it's published and you test it on staging, then make sure that you submit it to Google Search Console so it can get indexed, because you don't want to do all that hard work and not get indexed. That is a horrible feeling. So I'll catch y'all in the next tutorial. I'll do it end to end. And, I look forward to, just showing you guys the journey on what I'm doing myself for my own, tools, right? We're all learning together. We're all building together, right? So make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you check out the free trial for Plainly and, give it a swing.